Here's to 35 more years of Chucky. How's it going, friends? Till the end? Okay, that was lame. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Fuck the green screen, fuck all the fucking pictures I do. It's going to be light editing. I just want to do some straight talk here, because today we're celebrating 35 years of Chucky and the Child's Play franchise. It made its debut 35 years ago today in theaters, and that's when the world was introduced to this little crazy asshole that I've been rolling with for, well, admittedly and technically 34 years. Now, before I get into this, I just want to apologize to the viewers and to my subscribers that I haven't posted anything in a while. Just had some, IRL stuff happen. And even if it's a video that's on a negative topic, I still like to bring positive energy. And sometimes it's just hard to do that when you got so much shit going on in your personal life. There are going to be more videos coming. And I just want to shout out to all the YouTubers who put out consistent content. If you follow, like I do, like some of my favorite YouTubers are Anthony's Customs, Fact Fiend. And you know what, man, they come out with videos like multiple a week. Never mind like once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month. And yeah, you do have those YouTubers that do that as well. But if you have, somebody that you're following and subscribe to, show your support when you can, if they're delivering quality content on a consistent basis. But you know what, though? Enough about that. I'm going on. We're here to talk about Chucky. We're here to celebrate my favorite horror icon. And I gotta say, why he's my favorite, because I've mentioned it on this channel, Halloween is my favorite horror movie. I consider it the greatest horror movie of all time. You can't compete with it. But Chucky is easily my favorite horror icon, and I would even go as far as to say that he is probably one of, if not the greatest horror icon of all time, because the longevity speaks for itself. I mean, here we are sitting here 35 years later. He's still relevant. It's still Brad Dourif. It hasn't really been retconned. Yeah, there was the remake from MGM, excuse me, 2019, but we all know that was a cash grab. Come on, let's get real here. But still continuing on into the franchise now, into the third season of a television show, continuing after 7 films that you could all trace back continuity-wise to that original 1988 Child's Play movie. There's something to be a little bit said about that. Now for me, as I said before, 34 years, I'm going to take you back to August 27th, 1989. I was 7 years old at the time. I had woken up. It was a Sunday. It was still summer vacation because in New York, schools, they started schools a little later than they did here in PA. And my mom said to me, "Hey, your father taped Child's Play last night. Would you like to watch it?" Now, quick background. My old man, may he rest in peace, used to go on the roof of our apartment building. It was a 6-family apartment in Brooklyn. And he would tap into the neighbor's cable. Yes, not legal, but guess what? It was fucking 34 years ago, and I don't think anybody has cable anymore anyway. But his secret was that he would only tap into it for Saturday nights, tape all the new movies that were coming out on the different movie channels, and then untap it. And, well, that's how we never got caught. My mom asked me, "Do you want to watch Child's Play?" And my first question was, "What's Child's Play?" And she said, like a Malto-Meal ad, "Well, if you love Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees, I think you're going to love this movie." And she was absolutely right. May she rest in peace as well, because I did love it. I watched it 3 times that day. 3 times. 3. Okay, watched it once, watched it again. Then my Uncle Billy came over, took me to play softball at Juniper Valley Park in Queens. And then we came back. My father, like myself now, was a night shifter, so we were waiting for him to wake up. And when he woke up, we watched it together as a family. And the rest is history. That was the start. And I think that was probably why Chucky had the biggest impact on me. Because yes, while I do love Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and all the other wonderful slashers that came out of the late 70s, 80s, and the early 90s, I got to see Chucky from its inception at a very impressionable age. Yes, of course, that does play a role into it. But I got to see it at an age where I was able to understand the movie, follow the plot, and see the birth. Because other slashers, I was either not born yet, or I was a fucking baby. And, while I did see those movies, I had parents that were pretty cool. Okay, to put it in perspective, I saw Hellraiser before I saw Child's Play. Didn't understand it. All I knew was, a scary guy with no skin, a scary guy with pins. But the story I wasn't able to fully grasp and appreciate until I was much more mature-minded, and that happens. But I was able to understand Child's Play and grow with it. I felt like on some level I grew up with Andy. I'm the same age as the actor now, and I was the same age as the kid in the film when I had watched it, pretty much. So, it's a cool thing. Like, I would have never thought as a kid, if you had told me, hey, 35 years from now, this fucker's still going to be going. It's still going to be the same guy, the same voice behind it that you've always loved. There's like I said, there's a testament to that. There's a reason why I can almost lay the claim of him being the greatest horror icon of all time. And when you think about it, Robert Englund's career was a little less than 20 years. Appearances and makeup and stuff, like on the Goldbergs, yes, if you want to count that. But for the most part, his time in the franchise, starring in a movie or a television show, because yes, that's right, there was a Nightmare on Elm Street television series at one point, and he would make appearances in it. Chucky's got him beat, man. He is just, not stopping anytime soon. In fact, right now they're talking about a crossover with Megan. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I could pick who Chucky should do a crossover movie with, Michael Myers, hands down. I just think the dynamic of having one loudmouth versus one silent killer, it's what worked well for Freddy versus Jason. And from a supernatural standpoint, they're both kind of even, because Chucky's mortal for the most part. Yeah, he could be resurrected and comes back, but you can, in a single movie, kill him like the way you would kill any other normal human being. And then you have Michael Myers, who is a normal human being, but just has something a little extra going on. I just think that their skill levels would complement each other nicely. But I tell you what, though, Megan, I'm not gonna lie, I love the character. I think the movie sucked. I should do a separate video on that. But I like the character enough where I think that they could have a good dynamic going along with each other. And they're both in Blumhouse's wheelhouse right now, so why not? Why not? Let's do it, Because God bless him, Brad Dourif is getting up there in age, and while I do hope that he's one of those that makes it to 100, because you get some celebrities that do, he seems to be in pretty good health, we cannot ignore the fact that he is old, and, well, we just got to be grateful for what we can get in today's age, 35 years, man. 35 years. God bless you, Chuck. And thank you, Don Mancini and David Kirshner, being the same writer and the same producer. I think that has a lot to do with the longevity. Yes, there are some pitfalls that the franchise has gone through, where it got maybe a little too cringe, a little too comedic, but for better or worse, we're still here. You're talking the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. So, you have all those generations where there was some sort of Chucky content being put out. And that's the only other franchise I could think that could do so, that has done anything close to like that, is the Phantasm. And that's usually, that's a franchise that doesn't even hit most people's radars, when it concerns horror movie marathons, and definitely, Phantasm's definitely not like a super mainstream horror franchise like the way Child's Play is. So yes, while you could subjectively say that, Freddy's cooler, funnier, Michael Myers is scarier, Jason Voorhees is more legendary, Pinhead's more evil, while you can get away with saying all those things about those other slashers, and yes, subjectively you're probably right. And for many years, Chucky did feel like he was on the back burner, but I think that even by today's standards, just in what we think of horror slashers, he needs to be on the Mount Rushmore of horror characters, most definitely. Well, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to get a chance to, I guess, nerd out, fan out a little bit. I am going to have more specific related Chucky videos coming up. In fact, the next one coming up is going to be about how the voodoo in the Child's Play franchise works. And I'm going to be changing the format of how I do videos too, so stay tuned, I guess. I don't know. I've been up all night, so you have to pardon me. On that note, though, I will say I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that he's here still with us 35 years later, and apparently more to come. You know, I'm hoping that we can make it to 40. If we can make it to 40 years of Chucky, and then, you know, if Brad Dourif wants to retire from the role, if Don Mancini wants to take on a new project, I would be okay with it. You've earned it. You have definitely earned it. Well, I hope you're enjoying your Chucky day, folks, and of course, as usual, if you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. Thanks for tuning in. So, I may not have mentioned this in the video before, but if you're watching the documentary Living with Chucky, well, here's a little thing. Yep, that's me. Right there. Look at that. Isn't that fucking crazy? So, yeah, as a fan, as a lifelong fan, it's nice to be part of, you know, a DVD. I know I'm not famous or anything, so let's get fucking real, but this will be included with box sets going into the future, so, you know, to be able to say that you had some small part in that as a fan, that's very validating as a fan, so, thank you, and, yeah, 35 years, woo!